The $1 Ranch and the Stranger Inside. Ethan Cole had never been the kind of man to believe in miracles, but when he stumbled across a classified ad that read, "Ranch for sale, Nols must pick up deed in person," something inside him told him to chase it. Fresh out of a messy breakup, burnt out from city life, and tired of staring at grey concrete walls in his downtown apartment, he took the drive out to the middle of nowhere. The air was cleaner here, the skies stretched wider, and the silence was a welcome relief from the endless honks of city streets. When he pulled up to the crooked mailbox marked Wilderness Edge Ranch, he half expected it to be a scam. The fence posts leaned tiredly against the wind. The barn stood weathered but proud, and the house, an old two-story cabin with faded green shutters, looked like it carried more stories than any man could imagine. The realtor didn't stick around. He was a portly man with a limp handshake and a rehearsed smile. "Deed's yours if you want it," he said, shoving the papers into Ethan's hand before retreating to his car. No small talk, no explanations, just a nervous glance over his shoulder, as though the land itself made him uneasy. Ethan signed the documents, feeling the weight of ownership settle in with equal parts thrill and dread. A ranch for a single dollar. He thought he'd just made the deal of a lifetime. But the lifetime part, he didn't realize yet. When Ethan stepped into the house, it smelled faintly of cedar and something else he couldn't place. Something sweet, but sharp, like wild berries after rain. Dust motes danced in the sunbeams, slicing through the cracked blinds. He walked the creaking floorboards with caution, calling out, "Hello? Anyone here?" More for comfort than expectation. That's when he heard it. A soft shuffle, a breath. The unmistakable sound of someone else alive inside those walls. His hand instinctively reached for the pocket knife he carried. "Who's there?" From the shadows of the stairwell a girl appeared. Not a woman, yet not a child either. She looked about 19 or 20, her long chestnut hair tangled, her clothes worn but clean, her eyes sharp with the kind of guardedness that comes only from surviving too much alone. She didn't flinch at the sight of him. She didn't even look scared. Instead, she said in a steady voice, "You shouldn't have bought this place." Ethan froze. "What do you mean?" "This ranch isn't yours," she replied. "It's mine, and you'd better leave before you find out why nobody stays here." The wind outside howled through the cracks of the old house, and for the first time since he'd seen the ad, Ethan wondered if the price of $1 wasn't too good to be true after all. Secrets beneath the soil. Ethan didn't leave. Something about the girl's defiance, the mystery in her words, tethered him to the house. Her name, he learned after several tense hours, was Lila. She had lived there for years, alone since her parents vanished under circumstances she wouldn't explain. At night, Ethan could hear her walking the halls as though guarding something, and every morning he found the fences repaired, the barn swept, the animals fed, as if she had single-handedly kept the ranch alive despite its decay. But it wasn't just chores that kept her bound to the land. It was something deeper, buried. Ethan discovered it one stormy evening, when a clap of thunder rattled the windows, and Lila rushed outside with nothing but a lantern. Against his better judgment, he followed her into the rain, across the muddy pasture, and down to a section of earth that looked freshly turned. She fell to her knees there, whispering words he couldn't hear, pressing her hands into the mud as though it could answer her back. When she caught him watching, her face went pale with fury. "You don't understand what this place is," she hissed. "It doesn't want you here. It never did." The ranch had secrets, stories of men who came to buy it for pennies, only to vanish without a trace. Town whispers called it cursed, a place where the land itself chose who stayed and who disappeared. And somehow Lila was still there, untouched but tethered, like a keeper bound by fate. The deeper Ethan stayed, the more the ranch tested him. Strange shadows moving at night, fences breaking as if ripped apart by invisible hands, whispers that crawled along the edges of his sleep. But alongside the terror grew something else, a connection. Lila wasn't just a squatter in a forgotten ranch. She was a survivor of it, a girl who had given everything to guard its truth. And Ethan, for the first time in years, felt the stirrings of something he thought he'd lost: hope, belonging, maybe even love. The climax came when the land demanded its price. To keep the ranch alive, one soul had to be bound to it. That was why it sold for one, why it never let go of its keepers. Lila had borne the burden long enough, but with Ethan's arrival, the choice shifted. He could run like the others before him, or he could stay, shoulder the curse, and free the girl who had unknowingly stolen his heart. What he chose that night beneath the storm, staring into Lila's tear-streaked eyes, would change both their lives forever.